This episode of Free Shipping brought to you by LaserMemes.com, bringing memes to life. Hello everybody and welcome to Free Shipping. Today we got another fanfic. This one is a doozy. It's called The Music of Love by xXJustinFanxX666x. Chapter 1. Justin Timberlake paced around his luxurious room and sighed deeply, running his fingers through his perfectly gelled hair. "It's lonely at the top," he said out loud, even though there was nobody there. That's right, there was nobody there. A single tear glistened like a star shining in the darkest part of the night sky and glided down his milky cheek. Ever since Brittany, his special angel baby girl, had left, he felt empty inside, like the endless void of space. Indeed, he had loved her with the burning passion of 1,000 suns. But alas, she hadn't even loved him with a ray of light from one sun. He threw himself onto his snakeskin couch and started pouring out his heart onto his notebook page, more and more tears pouring elegantly from his eyes. Yes, inspiration had hit him like a sack of cliches. All his feelings for his beloved poured onto the arrow straight lines of the page. He started scribbling furiously, the words pouring out as though his pen were possessed. "I'm bringing sexy back. Them other boys don't know how to act. I think you're special, what's behind your back? So turn around and I'll pick up the slack. Take it to the ground. You see these shackles, baby, I'm your slave. I'll let you whip me if I misbehave. It's just that no one makes me feel this way. Take it to the chorus." When he had finished releasing his soulful genius onto the page, he collapsed, as though he had expended a little too much of his spiritual energy. He had to write another. He had to stay strong. Success was the best revenge. But it was no good. Justin had fallen asleep on his 6-inch deep snow-white shag rug after rolling off the couch in a sexy manner. In his dreams, he saw his love dancing in her finest early 2000s fashion, sequins sparkling. Would nothing ever break her cruel post-pubescent spell? He tossed and turned, tormented by his excruciating slumberous fantasy. Suddenly, he heard an unexpected sound. An explosion? Everybody's late 90s dream boy deduced that a stage effect had gone wrong in the dream. But the sounds wouldn't stop. His eyes flew open, and he realized that the explosions were real. Justin let out an ear-piercing shriek and held himself for comfort, his ears still ringing from the explosion and his own, perfectly in key, scream. He looked towards the explosion, his heart thumping in his chest. There was a man in his house, and a chunk of the wall was missing. He suddenly tried to play it off as though his scream was a part of a song. He surely didn't want to disappoint a dedicated fan. JT noticed that his jeans were at a normal height and tugged them back down to where his underwear were showing. His face flushed pink with embarrassment. "Yo, can I help you there?" The man, who JT now noticed was in a military uniform, looked a little confused. But then his beautiful features shifted into a look of determination. His hair was in a gloriously square buzz cut, and JT admired its gelability. Even more square was the man's perfect jaw. It was all that is right with the world. Indeed, it was a song waiting to happen. Looking down at his solid barrel-like chest, he noticed a name tag. This Aryan god's name was Joe. He suddenly put handcuffs on JT, much to his unpleasant surprise. "Well, man, what's this all about?"
You're under arrest for being a member of the vile terrorist organization Cobra. Surrender peacefully, Mr. Pimperlake.
Nah, dude, you got it all wrong. I'm Justin Timberlake, the multi-talented entertainer sensation.
I'm not stupid. You won't fool me a third time, Pimperlake, or my name isn't G.I. Joe.
No, seriously, I'm Justin Timberlake, the nation's heartthrob. If I sing you a song, will you believe me?
G.I. Joe blushed furiously.
I don't know if this is against regulations.
Screw the rules, Joe. Listen to your heart. And this.
Mr. Timberlake began to sing the song he had just written on the couch. When he got to the part about the motherfuckers watching how he attacks, Joe began to cry. He stopped singing.
Sorry, did I upset you?
No, I'm not.
G.I. Joe frantically put on his helmet in a pathetic attempt to hide his achingly manly tears.
This singing stuff, what does it do for our great country? Nothing. You disgust me.
But the liquid silk streaming down his cheeks told the truth. His heroic, armor-wearing heart's defenses had been pierced. He barely knew this beautiful stranger, but JT felt a searing pain in his chest.
Why are you pushing me away? Maybe things would be different if you got to know me.
He caressed what he could fit of Joe's cheek-slashed jaw in his well-moisturized hands, biblically. G.I. Joe gasped sharply.
Are you kidding me? That would be a disgrace to America. A homosexual act? That's practically terrorism.
His face had turned red and splotchy and was twisted with false hate. Every word caused spittle to fly in Justin's face, but JT had a musician's ear, and he could hear the lies masquerading as those ugly words.
You're lying. We both need this. Give in to your love.
He pulled a remote out of his pocket and hit a button. The stereo started playing one of his own songs. The songster then began sprinkling rose petals onto his gigantic purple silk bed. Joe had been distracted for a moment, but when he looked back at Mr. Timberlake, his clothes had vanished. Joe was certain the non-denominational Christian devil had overtaken him. What had happened to his ironclad, family-friendly morals? He should be shooting terrorists in the face. This was wrong. This was wrong. This was right. They porked.
Well,
said G.I. Joe, panting heavily.
It looks like knowing was half the battle.
Justin had a sudden realization. In that moment, when their souls had joined together and he'd come like a fountain, he hadn't been thinking of Brittany. How? How did this happen? Could this be what he'd needed all along? His stomach hurt, though. He looked in the mirror and noticed a small bump.
Oh, I think you pistol whipped me a little too hard, Joe.
He eyed his new lover coyly. G.I. Joe's eyes suddenly filled with horror.
No, not again. Justin, that's a baby.
The world became dark. Justin's mind swirled. His worst nightmares. He fainted onto the blanket of rose petals. In that moment, G.I. Joe had never seen anyone more beautiful. This time, he wouldn't be a deadbeat father. It wasn't the American way.
I'll take care of you both, or my name isn't G.I. Joe.
Justin's eyes fluttered open.
I'm sorry about that, dog.
He coughed weakly.
I'll raise this baby. You didn't ask for this.
You didn't either. This is all because of my condition. Cobra, they gave me super sperm. I'll never forgive them.
Justin blanched. Cobra. Oh, right. That was the organization he was working for. Pimperlake was his stage name, secret code name. He had been too distracted by Joe's sharp, angular jaw to notice this sudden plot twist earlier. He was torn between the love of his life and the terrorist organization he had joined for no reason. What's worse, the Super Sperm Project was his idea. He had wanted to be the best at everything, so he had asked Cobra to develop it and run experiments for him. The world began to churn before his eyes. JT breathed shallowly, as if there would never be enough air again. G.I. Joe's shining, patriotic eyes filled with concern.
Is it the baby? Justin, I'm here! Justin!
His passionate shout resonated throughout even the heavens and Justin Timberlake's glorious but tastefully decorated residence.
Joe, babe, I'm okay.
He coughed again. Things were not okay. Worlds were colliding. Suddenly, his phone rang. The ringtone was the Cobra Commandos theme song. Joe's eyes narrowed.
What's this?
He picked up the phone and looked at the ID.
Cobra! Justin, what are you doing? It's like I don't even know you anymore.
His manly tears began again, this time falling in muscular, robust droplets. JT draped himself around the soldier, as if trying to keep him from floating away.
No, babe, it's not. I would never.
Suddenly, he began coughing up blood.
No, my secret chronic disease. It's too late. Forgive me, my love.
He let out one last faint cough and collapsed into G.I. Joe's arms. Justin Timberlake, one of the most well-rounded performers of our time, was dead. And at that moment, G.I. Joe knew one thing. No matter who he had been working for, when his true love had breathed his last artistically crafted breath, Joe's soul had died too.